Okay, so you need a Mother's Day card and you thought it should be handmade, which is the right thought. It should be handmade. A Mother's Day card should always be handmade, no matter how old you are. So you came here and you thought, let's see if Becca can teach me a very simple handmade Mother's Day card that won't take very much time or very much skill and still look really, really cute. All of those were great assumptions. I am going to teach you exactly that. This card is so cute and so easy and so quick. Let's just jump right into it. For this card, very basic supplies. I have cut a piece of watercolor paper into the shape of the card that I want. I made it longer this way just so there's more room to put the word mom, but if you have a shape of card that you prefer, go for it. You're gonna need a pencil and then any markers you have kicking around, preferably with a very small tip on them. These are the Ohuhu colored fine liners. Okay, before we start, I wanna just demonstrate how simple this really is going to be. I'm going to show you the exact little pieces that you're going to need to be able to draw in order to make this card. So the first one is going to be a little 5-petal flower that looks like that. So simple. I'm just picking colors arbitrarily, by the way, things that I think my mom would like. And the next one is going to be honestly just little scribbles. Little scribbles that kind of make a flower shape. I feel like you could probably master that one too. The next one looks like this. Kind of like a little cup shape with some bumps on the top. Basically like maybe it looks like a little bean. So simple. A very simple leaf shape. And you're gonna need to be able to do dots, which if you can't master the dots, I think we might have a problem. That's it. Those are the actual only shapes you're going to need to be able to do this card. Putting that aside, I've got my colors picked out. Again, any colors you want. They don't have to match mine. Then I'm going to take my pencil and my card. I'm also going to use my little laser level here just to shoot myself a straight line across my page. If you have a ruler, you could also do that, or you could totally just freehand this. And if you are not a person who feels comfortable with calligraphy, just follow what I'm doing. Just pause the video as many times as you need to try and get this as nicely shaped as you can. But also know that I teach calligraphy. It's kind of my main thing. So if you're seeing this and you're like, ooh, I like this card, but I would really like to improve my calligraphy for next time, please come and join me. Okay, so I've written out my word mom in pencil, and that's what I want you to do in kind of just like a spread out scripty style. I want yours to be lighter than what mine looks like right now, though. It might look really light on the screen, but it's a bit too dark in real life. And normally, if I weren't trying to make this show up on screen for you, I would erase as much of that as I could so that I have the faintest guideline. I'm keeping it dark so that you can see it, but in real life, I want you to kind of like make that as light as you possibly can, because sometimes the marker will show that pencil line through. It's not a big deal, but just make it as light as you can while still being able to see it. Okay, now I'm gonna jump in. We're gonna do that first blue flower or whatever color you chose to do. We're honestly just following the line and putting in some of those sporadically. It is not rocket science. We're just following the shape, and we don't want to encroach too much on spacing. So see how I kind of squished my flower closer to the line as opposed to moving into the middle where those two pieces of the M meet. We want to still be able to make out the shape of the word. So don't use the flowers to fill in space. You kind of want to make them follow the line as much as you can and not encroach on the spacing. You can encroach a little bit. Obviously, you're going to have to in some parts, but just try to follow the lines as much as you can. So for example, at the top of this M, I just followed the way that those lines are all going, and that's where I placed my petals. Your petals don't have to be perfectly spaced. In fact, I always find it looks better when they're not, because they just look more organic. And so just using the lines to kind of guide where you put them, the closer you can follow the lines of the letters, the more legible your art is going to be. And I also don't need them all to be perfectly spaced. Sometimes I cluster 2 or 3 together. We're kind of just going to keep filling in with all different kinds of flowery shapes as we go. So you can add in a bunch right now, and then we're always going to come back and add more later. You don't have to get all of these purple ones in perfectly in the first shot. So I'm going to leave it there for that shape. And I just realized that I did my flower purple, and my dots are going to be, like, I swapped those two colors by accident, which is truly no big deal. So I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to make my flowers purple and my dots blue, and we're going to be totally fine. Now I'm going to move to my yellow, and I'm going to do these little squiggly ones, and I'm going to try and cluster them in groups of 3-ish. It's honestly just a scribble. It could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. I'm just trying to make this like, these are like their own little cluster of flowers. And again, I'm using the line as my guide. So I'm following that kind of shape, putting some around the purple flowers. You can do whatever you want with this. They're just meant to kind of give the impression of flowers. I'm gonna leave it there for that one. Now I'm gonna hop in with my pink. And for this one, we're gonna end up drawing kind of a tulip shape. So we have the top of our tulip, we're gonna put a line, and then we're gonna add our little leaf shape on it. So you wanna look at places that have kind of a long piece of emptiness right now, and add the top of your tulip at the top of it. I'm gonna do the same here, assuming that I can add my stem following that line. And you're just kind of adding those in wherever you see an opportunity to put a longer stem. And then we're gonna fill it in with the green. Let's start with that. Now I'm gonna show you how to add in the stem for them. So we have a tulip head here. We're gonna add the stem. We're gonna add a tiny little leaf. It doesn't protrude too much into the middle so that it doesn't jumble the shape of the letter. But you can see how this one really adds to defining the shape. Okay, now I'm gonna take my blue and I'm gonna do the dots, and we're making this look like the shape of lavender, which is kind of dot-like, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna take this and basically just add in dots in like a long, skinny-ish shape. And we're gonna use that to fill in some of these blank spots. Don't worry about filling in all of them, because I'll show you how to kind of complete this in a second if you have any blank spots. So just kind of spreading them out where it makes sense. Lavender always reminds me of my mom and my grandmother. It was a scent that my grandmother loved. So I love to put this in here. You can also define those dots a little more if you want them to be a little heavier. Okay, so now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I think we need a little bit more flower detail. So I'm gonna add in some more purple flowers. I'm gonna put one here. And here. Just kind of looking at it and seeing like where it feels like we need a little more color, and knowing at the same time that we're gonna also add a bit more green. So not overdoing it with the flowers. So now I'm gonna take my green again, and I'm gonna just like anywhere that there's blank space, I'm gonna add in a green stem, and I'm gonna put a couple little tiny leaves on it. Also just kind of bringing it in between the flowers to like finish it up, complete the shape of the letter. Really lightly too, it doesn't have to be super noticeable in all the places, it just kind of ties it together. Down here where these two meet, it feels like we need a flower down there. I'm gonna put a cluster of yellow here. And then carrying on with my green, just putting some tiny little leaves. You can see how that just kind of pulls the whole thing, the shape of the whole thing, all back together. And there we have it. Could that have been any more simple? The last step I like to do, since it's a Mother's Day card, is I open it up and I tie that same idea into the inside. So I like to put a little heart at the bottom, and I'll do the exact same process in here. Obviously, sign your name beside it. But I just think this kind of like finishes it off, gives it a little, it makes it feel like the inside was designed as much as the outside, you know? So cute. There you have it. You're finished. Mother's Day card. All right, hopefully you believe me now that this is like the easiest card ever. As a fellow mom, I'm telling you, your mom's gonna love it. I hope you found this simple and easy to follow, and if so, I would love for you to hit follow on this channel because I put out videos like this every single week. But for now, I'm gonna link you to another one that I think you might like, and I hope I'll see you over there.